This isn't the first deadly fire here. A mother and 8 of her children were killed on this same property more than half a century ago.
Hi, my name is Tisha. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you. Hello. I post about the paranormal world, spirituality, witchcraft, and I'm starting a new series with this video called Mysteries and Murders in Massachusetts. So let's go. Okay guys, so we're about to get into this next story, and it is absolutely mind-blowing, and it is a very personal story. It hits home for us, and this is why I decided to definitely go ahead and tell this story. This story is called Cursed or Coincidence, and it is about a home that burned down twice in 60 years. And some of the coincidences in both stories will blow your mind, to the point that firefighters on the scene then and now are even confused about how something this insane could happen twice.
In a valiant attempt to rescue the child, we have learned this home was the scene of a deadly fire many years ago.
Let's go back, first of all, to about 9 or 10 years ago. We were in the market to either get a rent-to-own home, or to rent a home, or to buy a new home. So we came upon this home that actually needed work on it, and it was in Westport, a town that our children grew up in. We are from Massachusetts. So we went to this house. We met the owners, of course. They did a walkthrough. There was a lot of work that needed to be done on the home. We didn't know how much work. You know, sometimes when you look at something, the people are kind of telling you, like, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. They don't really know how much actually needs to be done to get in there and start doing it. Well, that was sort of the situation. So, long story short is, you know, we met up with them to sign papers and everything about the house. And my husband even went over there to start working on it. Okay, so like I said, we had signed all the paperwork and stuff like that. We talked to the owners, we'd seen the home, and the agreement that we had made was we would do some of the improvements on the house, because that's what my husband does for a living. That's actually the business and company that we own. My husband's a builder, so there's not really any of that stuff that he doesn't know how to do, and any of the electrical or work like that, he can bring in guys from his own company to work on. So that was kind of the agreed thing, and we didn't have like a set price or anything we were going to do. It was just something that we had spoken to about maybe doing in the future, like a rent to own type of arrangement, or money off at the time, because we would do the work in the home and then we would live there, that sort of thing. So very weird. This is the weirdest thing, and what drove me to do this story. He's at the house with my oldest son, and they're doing the walkthrough and everything, and looking at things like a lot closer now, right?
With a man who says he lost 9 relatives at that very same home in 1952.
So I'm sitting at home, and my husband and my oldest are at the home doing the work and looking through the house and stuff, and all of a sudden, like literally out of nowhere, I had this intuitive, like, poof, moment. Crazy. Something was like, don't buy the house. I had no answer for why. It was just like, don't buy the house, don't do anything with the house, don't ever even like go into that house ever again. You're not gonna rent, buy, or anything with this house. And it was like the strongest, craziest, weirdest feeling, because we had already spoken about everything, talked everything over, and, you know, had the ball rolling to do the work in the house and rent the house for the time being. I called my husband, who was at the house, and I was like, change my mind. I do not want to move into this house. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, like, absolutely not. There's literally nothing you could say to make me ever step foot into this house. I just don't want to buy it. And he's the weirder part is, so he's on the other line, and he's like, obviously like what? What do you mean? And he's like, but it's funny, because he's like, it's weird that you said that, because I'm sitting here with Seth, my oldest son, and thinking, like, walking through the house and saying how, like, there was so much chaos going on in that house. There were like electrical wires hanging from the ceilings. There was just a lot of stuff that was unfinished, and it wasn't like paint the walls and simple things like that, that you were going to just move in. So when I said that to him, he was like, well, that's weird, because for the first time when I walked into the home and actually saw everything that had to be done, I was kind of giving it second thoughts. But he wasn't like, oh, no, we're not going to get the house. It was basically like, we need to re-talk all of this stuff with the owners, because there's way more work to be done than the arrangement that we had worked out. So anyways, he leaves the house, comes back home. We have a discussion about like what made me suddenly say all of this. And I told him I had no answer for it. There was no reasoning. I didn't see anything. I didn't read anything. Nobody told me anything. I just had this like huge feeling out of nowhere, just not to have the house, with no backup towards it whatsoever. And so that is why what happens next is so crazy. And even to this day, I look back and like driving by the property today, I'm still just like mind blown. Like, we were literally saved from moving into this house.
Whether that home had working smoke detectors after a fire that killed a 4-year-old boy in his bed. The destructive fire that ripped through this home, killing a 4-year-old boy, has devastated.
So I would like to send my condolences out to the families, because it does not matter how long ago it happened. In both situations, there are still living family members. Condolences to all of you. It was so tragic. Both events were extremely tragic and sad. If you read any of the old newspaper clippings of the firefighters that were on scene at both times, how just horrible of an event this was, that people still talk about it. In the town of Westport today. So condolences to both families of both fires that happened in Westport in that home.
Candle sits on the front lawn of the home that was gutted by the fire. As firefighters say, when they arrived, the house was completely engulfed. Say a young man ran inside to try and save that little boy. This is not the first time a fatal fire has hit 9 Mount Pleasant. 9 members of the Audette family died in a fire in the same house back in 1952.
And they all died of smoke inhalation. So it was my grandmother, 7 aunts, and 1 uncle.
Miguel
If you are enjoying my content, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to like that video.